Have you ever stopped to think about how truly wild it is that we can talk? I mean, really think about it. It feels so simple, so automatic, but behind every single word you say, there's this unbelievably complex, high-speed performance happening inside your body. It's kind of mind-blowing. So let's pull back the curtain on that.
Okay, let's take a super simple word. Happy. Go on, say it out loud. Happy. Feels like nothing, right? But how in the world do your brain, your tongue, your lips, and your lungs all coordinate to make that exact sound, and to do it so ridiculously fast? Well, that little word holds the key to the whole secret science of our speech.
That's right, less than half a second. That is absurdly fast. A single blink of an eye takes about that long. But what's going on inside your mouth in that split second is this incredible feat of muscular choreography. It's a gold medal gymnastic routine, and you do it thousands of times a day without even thinking.
So here's the brain's secret trick, the real magic of it all. We don't say sounds one by one, like beads on a string. H, A, P, P, Y. No way. Our brain is way too smart for that. It overlaps everything. The movements for one sound start way before the last one is even finished. It's this incredible efficiency called co-articulation, and it's the only reason we can speak so smoothly and quickly.
So, how on earth do we even start to map out a process that's happening that fast? Well, lucky for us, there's an entire field of science dedicated to creating the blueprint of our speech, and that's exactly what we're going to explore.
And that science has a name, phonetics. You can think of it as the ultimate toolkit for taking language apart, piece by piece. Now today, we're going to focus on one specific part of it called articulatory phonetics, which is really just a fancy way of saying we're looking at how we physically make the sounds of speech.
At the most basic level, every sound you can make falls into one of these two big categories. And the biggest difference between them? It's all about airflow. For consonants, think of them as sounds where you're building a little dam or a blockage somewhere in your mouth. But for vowels, the air flows way more freely and the sound is just shaped by that open space.
So let's get into how this whole toolkit is put together. We're going to start with the consonants because they have this surprisingly neat and tidy recipe that lets us describe pretty much any consonant in any language on the planet. And here it is. It's that simple. Just 3 ingredients: voice, place, and manner. If you can figure out these 3 things for any sound, you can define it perfectly. It's like a universal code for speech. Let's break that down real quick. Voice is just a simple yes or no question. Are your vocal folds vibrating? Is the motor on or off? Place asks, where in your mouth are you stopping the air? Is it with your lips, your teeth, the roof of your mouth? And finally, manner asks, how are you stopping it? Is it a full, complete stop, or a slow, hissing release, or something else entirely? Okay, let's put our recipe to the test with our word happy. That first H sound. Well, it's voiceless, no vibration, the motor's off. The constriction, the place, is way back in your throat, at the glottis. And the manner is a fricative. You're creating that hissy friction sound. Now for the P sound, also voiceless. The place is bilabial, you use both lips. And the manner is a stop. You completely block the air and then poof, release it. See? The recipe just works. Okay, so all those different recipe combinations can be sorted into 2 big families. You've got your obstructions, which are the sounds with a major blockage, like pa, ta, and sa. Then you have the sonorants, which are much more open and resonant. They're almost like vowels. Think of sounds like ma, la, and wa.
All right, we've got the superstructured world of consonants down. Now let's jump over to their more fluid, kind of shape-shifting cousins, the vowels.
See, unlike consonants, vowels are all about the shape of the open space in your mouth, which is mostly controlled by your tongue. And a really key difference is how much muscle you're using. A tense vowel, like the E in feet, uses more muscle because your tongue is way up high and forward. A lax vowel, like the if in fit, is just what it sounds like, more relaxed. Go on, try it. Feet, fit. You can literally feel the difference.
And get this, vowels can get even more dynamic. Most are just single sounds, what we call monophthongs. But then you have diphthongs, where your tongue actually moves during the vowel, gliding from one position to another. The sound oi in boy isn't one static sound. It's a journey your tongue takes from one vowel shape to another. Same for the ow in cow. It's one single fluid moving sound. So cool.
So, we have our building blocks, our consonants, and our vowels. But what happens when we throw them all together in fast, messy, real-life conversation? Let's zoom back out and see how these sounds actually behave out there in the wild. This brings us to a process called assimilation, and it's basically the result of that co-articulation we talked about at the very beginning. To make our speech faster and more efficient, sounds get a little, well, lazy. They start to borrow features from the sounds next to them so they don't have to work so hard.
And this influence can work in two directions. Sometimes a sound will change the sound that comes after it. But what's way more common is something called regressive assimilation. And that's where a sound changes to get ready for the sound that's about to happen. Your brain is basically planning ahead.
Here is a perfect example. We spell this word with an N and a P, but pay really close attention to what your mouth actually does when you say it quickly. And there it is. The P sound is made with both lips together, right? But the N sound is made with your tongue up behind your teeth. To make that transition from your tongue to your lips easier, your brain just says, forget it, and it changes the N to an M, which is also made with both lips. We anticipate the P and get our lips in position early. That's regressive assimilation in action.
So we've broken down sounds, we put them in categories, we've seen how they change each other in conversation. This is all super cool, but so what? Why does understanding this incredibly detailed blueprint actually matter?
Well, it matters because all these individual sounds don't just exist as a random jumble. All those little shortcuts, like assimilation, allow them to group together smoothly into bigger chunks that we all intuitively understand. Syllables. These aren't just random divisions, they are the natural building blocks that give our language its rhythm, its stress, and its flow.
And this isn't just some abstract theory. Knowing this blueprint is absolutely essential in the real world. For speech pathologists, knowing the exact place and manner of a sound is how they help a child learn to speak clearly. For teachers, this is the very foundation of phonics, teaching kids how to decode and spell. It's even critical for poets who are analyzing the rhythm of a line of verse. This is the fundamental code of how we communicate.
So, we've just handed you the secret recipe for how speech is made, the ingredients, the chemistry, and all the little shortcuts our brains use every single day. The next time you're talking to someone, try to listen, not just to the words, but to the sounds themselves. What are you going to hear now that you know the secret? Thanks for watching.